¿Qué tal, amigos? ¿Cómo están? Bueno, pues acá vengo una vez más y como siempre en movimiento, y es que bueno, recién concluyó una reunión del Subcomité en Servicios Financieros y Gobernanza General del Gobierno de Estados Unidos, en la cual se hizo presente la mejor amiga del presidente Nayib Bukele, entre comillas, mejor amiga, ya que todos sabemos los encontronazos que han habido entre Norma Torres, que ha tratado por todos los medios de perjudicar a nuestro pequeño país, El Salvador. Pues bueno, ahí llegó Norma Torres, todo el mundo le estaba haciendo preguntas a Janet Yellen, la secretaria del Tesoro de los Estados Unidos. Y es que esta reunión se refiere acerca de las ayudas que Estados Unidos le da a otros países, hablando en términos monetarios. Y pues Norma Torres ha estado ahí con el único objetivo de asegurarse que a El Salvador no le entreguen ningún centavo, no le den ningún donativo, y podemos ver su rostro, su expresión, sus ojos, los cuales indican una total furia, una ira en contra del presidente Nayib Bukele. Ella estuvo ahí, ella fue ahí, no para aportar, no para preguntar, porque cuando era el turno de ella de hacer una pregunta, a lo que se dedicó fue únicamente a atacar al gobierno del presidente Nayib Bukele, y más bien al presidente Nayib Bukele directamente. ¿Saben qué? Mejor no hablo más. Acá los dejaré con su pregunta y su repregunta, ya que los que ahí participaban tenían derecho a preguntar 2 veces. Obviamente esta reunión fue en inglés, pero sé que muchos de ustedes van a entender lo que Norma Torres está haciendo, y es básicamente tratar de perjudicar a nuestro gran país, El Salvador, a toda costa.
It's an important issue. I agree with you.
Thank you. Torres.
Thank you, Chairman, and good afternoon, Secretary Yellen. Thank you for being with us today. As you're aware, I am deeply concerned about democratic backsliding and blatant disregard for the rule of law in the Northern Triangle of Central America. And as an appropriator, I feel strongly that we must ensure our U.S. taxpayers' dollars help the people and does not go against our policy objectives. We cannot directly or indirectly prop up wannabe dictators and allow these loans to support their attacks on democracy. Looking to El Salvador, in April of 2020, the IMF approved El Salvador's request for emergency financial assistance of about 389 million US dollars under the rapid financing instrument to combat the COVID-19 pandemic. That is not a small sum of money. The emergency assistance came from the commitment from El Salvador's government, and I quote, remain committed to strengthen competitiveness by improving the business environment, reduce public debt, combat corruption, and strengthen the financial supervision and regulatory framework, and the governance and anti-money laundering, counter financing of terrorism frameworks. The staff report also notes that the president assigned the International Commission Against Impunity in El Salvador, also known as CICES, to inspect the COVID-19 emergency funds, and nominated a committee in charge and accountable for administering the fund. Unfortunately, El Salvador's newly installed Attorney General Counsel CICES, after that body, referred 12 cases of potential corruption and procurement fraud to the former Attorney General, including misuse of funds for COVID relief purchases by the Ministry of Health. This was after the Legislative Assembly already passed a law granting immunity for COVID-related contracts. So my questions are, has your team and your colleagues at the IMF seen reports from CICES on how this money was spent per the commitment that was made? And if not, will you be requesting these reports and additional information? And given recent development and the government's clear efforts to avoid accountability and shield corrupt, are you confident that this money was spent as intended?
So you've asked a question that I need to do some research in order to give you a satisfactory answer. I mean, I'm certainly aware of the money that went to El Salvador. It was, as I understand it, mainly intended to help with COVID-19 and as budget support to strengthen fiscal reforms. I'm not knowledgeable about all of the details you just gave, and I'd be glad to get back to you or have my staff meet with you to review this situation.
Thank you very much. I do appreciate, you following up from our last meeting. I had a briefing with your folks, ensuring that we are utilizing all the tools at our disposal to file sanctions against corrupt individuals. That has to be a priority. When 70 cents of every dollar spent in the region, goes to corrupt hands, we must be eyes wide open at ensuring that we are protecting, this money. With that, I hope that we have a second round. Madam Chair, I yield back.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Price, thank you very much for steering our very important committee hearing and for your leadership. Really appreciate you.
Certainly. Glad you're back.
Now, I think I'm yielding now to Mr. Reschenthaler.
Thank you, Chairwoman Lee. I appreciate it, and good to see you back. I appreciate it. So, as everybody knows, the Biden administration...
Congresswoman Torres.
Thank you again, Secretary Yellen. I want to quickly say thank you again to you and your OFAC team for its engagement with me and commitment to work with state and others to increase the quantity and effectiveness of the global Magnitsky sanctions for the Northern Triangle. President Biden recently rightly highlighted corruption as a national security priority, and the creation of a regional anti-corruption task force for the Northern Triangle countries of Central America should put into action. I was also thrilled to see Treasury's budget justification include a little over 185 million, of which not less than 3 million is for addressing human rights violations and corruption, including activities authorized by the Global Magnitsky Human Rights Accountability. Secretary Yellen, of that request for additional staffing, how many new staff members will be dedicated to Central America to meet this new mandate of the Biden administration?
It's a good question. I promise to come back to you with details on that, Congresswoman.
Yes, I appreciate you so much and your eagerness to work with our office. With that, I yield back, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Well, Madam Secretary, first of all, thank you so much for spending time with us today and for your testimony. I think our members have learned a heck of a lot from you as it relates to our responsibility and partnership with the Department of Treasury. It really was a very informative hearing. It's really important that we stand by our commitments to our multilateral partners and show that the United States does not believe in go it alone policy or approach to addressing some of the toughest global challenges. Finally, let me just say to members, if you have any questions that you'd like to submit for the record, please submit them to the subcommittee within the next 7 days. So this concludes today's hearing. The Subcommittee on State Foreign Operations and Related Programs stays adjourned. Again, Madam Secretary, we really appreciate the time you spent with us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairwoman Lee. Thank you.